Well, from the pages of my website, MikeHuckabee.com, where you can sign up for my free newsletter. That's right, it is free. Well, from that newsletter comes a story that shows just how fickle the liberal social media truly is. This week, Twitter permanently banned gay writer and model Mikey Harlow because he questioned the LGBTQ community and transgenderism by using inconvenient but true facts. Harlow tweeted this, and I quote, "Lesbian, gay, bisexual, and transgender people want to be treated the same as everyone else. Radical alphabet people want to be treated differently. That is a key distinction. And that is why sane LGBT individuals take such exception to the latter transgender category." He goes on to say, "A gay person raising their voice in debate over the agenda of the LGBTQ movement, particularly with transgenderism, is social media and liberal culture suicide." Harlow went on to point out several more things that just didn't ring true on the issue of transgenderism, including this. He said 0.3 to 0.6% of the population is even transgender, the vast majority of whom just want to be seen as a man or a woman. Non-binaries cannot account for more than 0.1% at most. Yet, we need to alter the entire English language and change how we speak to appease the less than 0.1% of radicals? And he says no. #pronouns day. Well, pretty sure challenging transgenderism or the LGBTQ movement must have sent Twitter censors into cardiac arrest. Many suspect that the real reason for the ban is that Mikey Harlow is associated with Brandon Struck, who founded the #walkaway movement for Democrats who are appalled at what their party has become. See, I find it interesting that Twitter, which is run by allegedly progressive, woke, tolerant Silicon Valley leftists, would ban an outspoken gay man for speaking his mind. But I, a Republican, and even once a Baptist pastor, invited Struck, who is also an outspoken gay man from New York City, onto my show on TBN right here in Tennessee. Everyone here gave him a very friendly welcome, and we had a great discussion where he was free to express his views. By the way, he's even joining us again in a few weeks. You see, I'm not afraid to let other people express their opinions. I enjoy discussing and debating differences. If you're so terrified of allowing someone to speak, then maybe if you're that afraid and you would want to ban them for life, you must believe that your own position is pretty indefensible. Now, we also get some questions from you, and we're going to take a look at some of them. This question comes to us from Carlos, who lives in Florida, and he says, Congressman Matt Gaetz of Florida entered the Democrats' closed-door impeachment inquiry session on Capitol Hill this week. House Intelligence Committee Chairman Adam Schiff stopped the meeting cold. Never seen Republicans take a page out of a 60s liberal protest playbook. Did they really accomplish anything worthwhile? Well, let me tell you, by way of full disclosure, Matt Gaetz happens to be my congressman. I'm really proud of him, and I appreciated what he did. About 30 of the House members showed up, and they said, this is the people's business, and we'd like to be here because we represent millions of people, and we'd like to know what's going on. We'd like for you to open the door and let us come in. After all, we are as elected as you are. Adam Schiff was so frightened by that he shut the meeting down, got up, and he walked out. Now, you ask Carlos, was anything accomplished? Oh, yeah. I'll tell you what was accomplished. It was a revelation to a lot of Americans who maybe haven't been paying that much attention that this is not an open process as American processes are supposed to be. This was all happening behind closed doors where only one side even got to call witnesses, one side got to hear the full testimony, and that's not the way you run a government in the United States of America. Maybe in North Korea, maybe in China, maybe in Iran, but not in America. And I'm glad those Republicans showed some guts. So Stephen from Virginia asked, if I realize the freedom of the people of Hong Kong are in the news, and what should our government's response be to President Xi Jinping's aggressive persecution of the Christian church? I mean, after all, they just destroyed a 3,000-seat church and detained the two pastors. Let's be real clear. We may hear about all this progress that's going on in China, and if you go to China, I've been there, there are some remarkable things in terms of the infrastructure that's being built in the shopping malls, and there are places in most every Chinese city that look like Fifth Avenue in New York with all the high-end brands of Louis Vuitton and Chanel, and you would think you were in some capitalistic society. You're not. China is still run by very dedicated, harsh communists. Don't ever forget that. They don't let you learn things that you want to learn about the world. They block every access to your computer so that you can't Google information about China that might be harmful. It is a closed society. And while they're benefiting from a lot of Americans who are buying cheap things made there, and from people who are buying things that were stolen from American companies in the intellectual property theft, they're still communist, hardcore. And that's why I think it's so important that under our current president, we're standing up to them. We're telling them we're not going to take it anymore, and we are no longer going to be played as the chumps in the world trade. I'm proud of that, and it's something that is long, long overdue. All right, this question comes to us from Jean in Los Angeles. And Jean, because you're in Los Angeles, I pray for you, darling. I really do. Now, a jury in Dallas, Texas, ruled against a 7-year-old boy's father, Jeffrey Younger. He was trying to stop his ex-wife's plan to start their son on puberty blockers and facilitate the child's gender transition into a girl. The former wife, pediatrician Ann Gorgelis, is now receiving sole conservatorship over the 7-year-old, who now she calls Luna. And I'm wondering if the mom is going to be called Looney. Let me say, what can this poor father do to save his son and his gender? This was shocking. Not just that the mother, who's obviously educated and a pediatrician, thought that a 7-year-old should be allowed to change his gender into a female, because most 7-year-olds don't know what they want for breakfast. There's a reason we don't let 7-year-olds drive, go to the military, get married, sign a contract, smoke, drink, do a lot of other things, because they're immature and they don't know. My grandchildren are about that age. Sometimes they play like they're dogs. I never take them to the vet or get them distemper shots because of that. This is insane. And what really is tragic, the 7-year-old boy is the victim of no less than child abuse, because when that mother chemically castrates her son at the age of 7, there are irreversible biological changes in that kid's life that can never be outdone. This is tragic, and for a court to make that decision is a reminder why we need to keep appointing smart, thoughtful, considerate, and sane judges to the bench instead of the people like this judge who thought that was okay. Now, this comes to us from Paul in Minnesota. He notes that this week Justin Trudeau won a second 4-year term as Prime Minister in Canada's elections, and wants to know, what does that mean for America and our relationships with Canada and the USMCA deal? Well, first of all, congratulations to the first Black Prime Minister of Canada. That's a big deal. And if you don't know the backstory of that, you haven't been keeping up with the news very well. Justin Trudeau miraculously was able to win his election, but he now will do it as a minority party, probably because of a lot of the controversies that he has been through. And again, if you don't know, look that one up. Clearly, he is far left of center. All we can do is hope that he and the rest of Canada will understand that the USMCA is not just good for America, which it is, but it's good for Canada and it's good for Mexico. And most importantly, it's good for the American worker, and their jobs will be better protected than they ever were under what it's replacing, the old NAFTA deal. All right, this comes from Never Woke, Always Broke. He says, Senator Mitt Romney of Utah confirmed that he has a private Twitter account named Pierre Delecto. Mitt Romney, 72 years old, has a fake Twitter account, and he admitted it. And he goes by the name on this Twitter account of Pierre Delecto that he uses to lurk on social media. Here's the question from our viewer. He says, do you think the fake name is fitting of him, or would another one be more descriptive? Maybe Myth Romney? Or Mitt Romney? I don't know. Look, I think it's absurd. I said it on television that the only people who go out and get them a fake name because they're too afraid to stand up and be counted for what they want to say and believe on social media are either cowards, kooks, couch potatoes, are kids, or maybe people like Carlos Danger who are perverts. Why not just say who you are? If you've got something to say, have the guts to say it, be honest about it, and if you get some criticism for it and can't handle it, then go to a safe room, pet a pony, have a popsicle, get some Play-Doh. That's what we do if we can't handle the pressure. All right, so we want to hear what you have to say. You can write us at my2cents@tbn.tv. That's my 2 cents on your screen, my2cents@tbn.tv. Finally, a story from my Twitter page that you can subscribe to at Gov Mike Huckabee. Like my daughter, Sarah, as well as Candace Owens and many other conservatives, Rand Paul was trying to digest his lunch while visiting with Mr. Sergio Gore in California when he was harassed by some wild-eyed pair of woke New Yorkers. Here is the video from social media.
Not being rude.
Well, I'm not being rude. He's a public official. I have a right to speak to him. Yes.
You just ran into two people from New York, kiddo, and we're not putting up with your Republican.
All I'm saying is that while you and I probably don't have much in common politically, all right, we are Americans.
Ever so calm, weren't they, huh? Look, I don't know about you, but I can still remember a simpler time when enthusiastic citizens respected your menu choices and time with others. Now they act worse than kids gone wild in an elementary school class. And by the way, #couple-unhinged, that GOP stuff you spoke of, that's what our founding fathers call free speech. Here's what I would say to you. Those people are probably somebody's grandparents. And I wonder, do they tell their grandkids to behave like that in public? If they do, God help us all. So in closing, always remember, arguing with people like we just saw is like playing chess with a pigeon. No matter how good you are, they're going to poop on the board and strut around like they won anyway. So until next time, these have been the facts of the matter. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, be sure to leave a like, then subscribe, and hit the notification bell below. Now, if you didn't like it, you ought to find a Ben Shapiro video to detox you with more facts.